Stereotypes versus reality. Hey, coming up today, Mornings in the Lab, we break down common misperceptions of a man. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where excuse
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle appeals, blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're just
Super.
be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that
Here we go. Good morning. It's the Loop. Morning is alive with Keith and friends. We got it going after you guys today. It's time to get up, boys. And maybe you don't want to hit the snooze button. If you hit that snooze button, you're going to be 9 minutes behind. Roll over and let's get rocking and rolling. Today, we're digging into stereotypes of men. Yeah. You look at somebody, you judge him. Then he opens his mouth and you're like, oh, the guy's got something to say that has value. Yes, we're going to break into that today. Men, this is the show where if it matters to you, it matters to us. And guys, we got something to tell you guys today. Listen, experts are telling us that scientists have discovered how many times men should have sex per year to greatly reduce risk of heart disease. Coming up later in the show, we're also going to talk about we're going to talk about 8 simple ways to improve your life in 2025. And we're also going to get into these are the 7 sexual questions that everyone has but is too embarrassed to ask. We're going to get into those conversations here this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and friends. Jimmy, let's bring in the gang here this morning. I see that we don't have Johnny here yet. I'm not sure what's going on with that. We got Marty coming in here in a minute. We got Johnny. Oh, there you. Oh, I don't see you on the horizontal though, Johnny. We got you twice on the vertical there, and I was like, where's my buddy? Where's my brother Johnny over there, man? You are logged in on 3 spots. That's it. You got Keith rocking the new headset today. I got rid of the cans, Johnny. I got some in-ears here today. I'm trying them out. I'm excited about it. Offering a new little look to the show. I got the big head things. Oh, hey, Jimmy, I don't got the Substack on, so I'm going to get that rocking and rolling right now as well. We are looking to make some improvements to the show here, Nation. We're going to keep getting after it here and making some better things going on as John and Keith do this for the first. There you go. There you go.
Dude, I got I have 6 Yardstream tabs open. Every time I went to log in, it kept. I don't know what was happening. It was like Twilight Zone, baby.
Hey, you're hanging out with my buddy John Anderson over there. The guy's picked up a couple heavy things in his life and he's put them down. And I may have picked up one thing in my life and put it down. Then I stopped, and then I went and made some money. So I got my buddy Johnny here. We got Billis here. Marty's coming in here in a few moments. There, Johnny. He'll be sticking around for the entire show. Good morning, Cunningham. Good morning from Colorado. Johnny. Jeremy's up today, getting after with us again this morning.
No shit.
Yeah. He got up with us yesterday and he hung out with us yesterday in the show, and he's here this morning. And I see you as well there, Ali Bar in the comments. Hey, listen, Ali Bar, you're on the morning show for men, the only morning show to get your ass out of bed. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the channel. We got Jeremy Cunningham joining us from Colorado. What's up, Marty?
What's up, big dog?
How are you, brother? You good today?
It ain't a day that I'm not good, Keith.
Oh, I love that answer. Hey, do you notice something different about me today, Marty? How do I look differently today?
Your hair ain't out?
No, I don't have the big cans on my head. Look, I got the in-ears here today. I bought some in-ears.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because we're making some changes to the studio here because I got a big ass studio behind me here. So my plan is, guys, to add a few different camera angles. I'm gonna go hang out in the studio over there. I'm gonna grab myself a wireless lav mic and we're gonna have some fun with you guys. So
cool. Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. So hey, so first of all, Johnny, you had a big meeting yesterday morning across the pond. How did that go for you yesterday, pal?
I'm just interviewing, trying to get the right people on the team.
What do you when you're interviewing somebody here? Let's dig in. When you're interviewing somebody, what are you looking for? What's the most important thing for you?
I guess what I'm really looking for is I'm looking for character.
Yes.
The skill set, of course, it's a bonus. But I'm asking a lot of weird questions. You know, like I had a guy a couple weeks ago said, "Do you ask these questions of everybody?" And I said, "Absolutely, I do."
But
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, give us an example of a weird question.
I want to know, like, what they do with their free time. You know, because I'm trying to figure out character. But you know, at the same time, you got to be careful. You get yourself in a lot of trouble by asking certain questions.
Yeah, you know,
which I think is bullshit. But
I agree with you. So let's get into that for a few moments. So when you say you can get into a bunch of trouble for asking goofy questions, I don't know, like what's considered a goofy question? Because here's the thing for me, Johnny, if I want to get to know you as a human being, like if I'm going to work with you and fucking blood and sweat and tears and go up a mountain and go to battle and go to war and share personal deep secrets, like I want to know that you're somebody that I want to hang out with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm with you.
You know,
I'm totally with you. And it's, I guess, I mean, I didn't make these goddamn laws. That's for sure.
Well, no, there's no laws. It's just called respect and dignity, I guess. And as we know, the world is moving away from some of the DEI stuff that we've been caught up with for the last few years. So maybe, Johnny, you can ask some of the questions you don't want to ask or you were thinking about not asking before.
Well, when I say laws, isn't there? Forgive me, but I mean, isn't there like in an interview? Isn't there certain things that you're not allowed to ask that you could actually get fucking sued for?
Like, I'm pretty sure there is.
Like,
yeah.
what?
I don't know. I just know that I got to like, it can't have to do about race. It can't do with like things that are out of their control. Like if I said to Marty, you know what? I can't hire you because you have the wrong color skin. He could sue the pants off.
You're getting in trouble for that.
Well,
He could sue the pants off me.
Yeah. Well, so
like, for example,
yes.
I want to know about their family life, but I can't really say, tell me about XYZ. I just got to kind of figure out, you know, through a series of kind of alternate questions. Because like one of the things I want to know is I want to know about how they were raised.
Yeah. So, you know, what's funny, Johnny? So this is actually really good. This is fucking great, actually. So I agree with you completely, but I also disagree. I just have a conversation. I don't give a flying fuck what somebody has to say because I'm also going to be respectful enough to not be like, hey, Marty, I can't hire you because of your skin color. But no, hey, Marty, tell me about your family. Oh, yeah, you got brothers and sisters. What's your divorce? Like, I want to know about you as a human being. And if you don't like it, Johnny, here's a little role play. If you don't like it, then go interview somebody else. Because
and keep in mind, the guys that I'm talking to, I don't think they have a problem with it. But I'm just trying to be careful not to get myself in because you get the wrong. Keep in mind, you don't know these people.
100%.
All of a sudden, they're looking at a guy who's got a lot to take.
Yes.
The next thing I get, my fucking lawyer gets a letter saying, "Hey, this this guy was inappropriate with my client in a hiring process, and I got a fucking problem on my hands."
Yes. Yeah. I get you. I get you.
But I totally agree with you. What I want to do is just have a 15-minute conversation. That conversation and hiring process has to walk a certain line, which I agree. I think it's bullshit.
Well, and here's the thing too, Johnny and Marty, and here's the other reality is that you're not Nike, you're not Apple, you're not Google, you're not some big corporation. I know. Right? So if somebody wants to be a dick about it, they're going to be a dick about it. Then you just go on your way. And it might cost you a little bit of money with a lawyer, but I don't know. For me, the risk is I want to know who you are as a human. I want to get to know you as a human. And if during that journey you think I'm a dick, well, then I guess we weren't meant to be together. So, but I will tell you this though, boys. I will tell you this. And I was thinking about this. I was reflecting upon this over the weekend. Our situation, the three of us. Like, I feel like I know you guys. Because we spend every day together, you know, and here's the thing for humans who think we spend time out of the show. We don't, frankly. We talk during the show and hang out and we text and shit. But like, I really feel like I know you guys. I know your habits. I know your routines. I know you're reliable. I know your character. And Johnny, Mark, that just comes with time. Like that just comes with repeatable time, frankly. Right?
Yeah.
It's all about repetition, man. That's it.
It is, Marty. That's all that it is. It's like an athlete, right? Marty, you see a guy on the basketball court enough times, you as the general manager or coach have a good sense of what's going to happen when he goes up the court.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like when people don't put their weights back in the gym.
Yeah.
And I see them at the same station, they don't like to put their weights back. I know you're not going to put the weights back, so I'm going to stand right there and let you fuck up in front of me, and then you look at me like I'm stupid, and you already know what I'm looking at you crazy for. So, yeah.
Oh man, hey boys, we know this is a show that creates content for men. We're all about men. We're all about and boys. If it matters to us, it matters. If it matters to men, it matters to us. Well, guys, listen. There were scientists, Marty. Listen, Marty. There were scientists out of. There's a scientists did a study. 17,243 U.S. males talked about how sex affects heart health and longevity. And boys, we talk about life expectancy, work for our lovely wives and our partners. Well, science has come back, guys. That science is telling us how many times per year we need to have sex so that we can live longer.
Let's do some math.
Yeah, let's do some math. So
what we got? I'm pulling up the calculator.
This study went over 9 years, boys. And after nearly 9 years, they found that men who had sex less than 12 times a year had higher risks of heart disease and early death.
Well, fuck, man. They should if that's all they're gonna do. Jesus Christ, that's what you get.
And men, Marty, men that have had sex about 103 times a year, twice a week or so, had a lower risk. This works out to roughly twice a week, and they did note that having less sex, 52 times a year, can still offer some health benefits. So the reality is, boys, if you're having sex once a month, your heart health is not going to be as happy as somebody who's having sex at least twice a month.
But here's the thing: let's just profile that no pussy getting motherfucker, right? Along with not getting ass, he's probably laying on the couch. He's probably eating Cheetos. He's probably eating fast food. All the shit that goes with not getting ass also has to do with that motherfucker dying early.
That's true. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's not just lack of ass; it's the lifestyle that goes along with lack of ass.
Well, and it perpetuates itself, right? So let's stand here, gentlemen, and offer to the guys listening in right now that.
Can I add one thing before you move on?
Yeah.
Lack of first of all, lack of. That's not what I was going to say, but you said lack of ass. They not working out and not getting lactic acid. So I had to play on words right there. But anyway, no, I was gonna say it's also cardio. Like if you putting it down, right? You're working your heart.
Well, not if you're
your heart under
statistic
some stress.
getting 3 minutes. If you're a 3 minute, dumper. There ain't much cardio going in there. But I agree with you. I agree with you, Marty.
Ain't no 3 minutes over here. All right. Ain't no 3 minutes.
I wasn't pointing the finger at you. I was pointing at the dudes that are getting it 1 minute, one time a month. Come on, man. Oh, come on, man. What do you think I'm gonna do you like that shit?
I saw an Instagram clip, guys, of some shit. I saw a guy on Instagram on a bed, and he was on all fours, and he was pretending to and he had his wife on. Actually, no, his wife was on all.
Oh yeah.
She was pretending to have sex like a man, and he had the stopwatch out, and she was thrusting her hips down, Johnny, just like a man would have sex, like a missionary, right? And he had the stopwatch out, and she was just pumping, thrusting. And she's like, "Okay, am I done yet?" He's like, "Honey, you've only going for 14 seconds, man." And she's like, "What the hell?" So she kept over a minute. She's like, "This is hard and tough." He's like, "I know."
Yeah,
dude. That's so, especially when you're driving at home, man. It's like you're running from some sort of a fucking, like running from a bear, man. You got everything, you're in there, and then when you finally get over the mountaintop, you're like, where did all of the oxygen go in the room?
Yeah. So, gentlemen, we're inviting you to be thinking about having sex with your partner, or perhaps yourself, at least more than once a week if you want to live longer. Right? So, because science is showing you guys at least twice a week makes you live longer. Less than twice a week, you're going to have higher risk of heart disease, which is going to knock you out earlier than maybe you want, guys. So that might not be something you want to be considering along the way.
And one more little piece of that pie, maybe consider with a little more ass, a little less fast food.
Well, that's a big one too, eh? Like that's a huge one, isn't it, boys? We get so caught up. It's so easy to go grab that fast food, but the reality is that that's. I'm thinking that's got to be most of the battle for a lot of us. It's the bad food that leads to bad decisions.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
I think so, man.
You know, that's exactly what it is, right? So, all right. Well, listen, I'm messing around here with my computer. We got some just some new things happening here that I'm just sorting out here. There it is right there. All right, Jimmy. So listen, let's get the accountability check-in, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to come back with, I got a couple things on the table I want to talk to you guys about. We got AJ Zeglin joining us here at 8:45 to talk some mindful mental performance stuff. I had a guy come to me after our conversation with AJ a couple days ago, and I'm going to put that on the table in 30 minutes. But before we do that, Jimmy, let's get to the accountability check-in. Johnny's going to go for a break, and we're going to come back and continue the conversation this morning with my, no, that's not that button there, with my new headphones, which are sounding different than my other ones. But there we go. All right, let's do it. Where are we here? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Less talking today, Jimmy. Well, I'm still figuring shit out here this morning, but that's okay. All right. Listen, your ego. I know it. Your ego loves to judge. It's why you're stuck. Yeah, it's why you're stuck, baby. That ego, it sneaks in quietly. Oh, yeah, it sneaks in quietly. It beats up at you, gets at you, and you keep thinking, why don't they just try harder? Why? Just try harder or keep on dreaming, or they're just lazy. Now, judgment, oh, baby, judgment isn't loud. No, it's the whisper in your mind, but it's enough to hold you back from learning, from growing, and from connecting. So every time you judge, you lose. Stop judging, Mason. Instead, what you can do is interact. Notice when that judgment creeps in. Ask, why does this judgment bother me? And then get curious about the other person's story. Be curious. Ask questions. Enlighten yourself. Judgment, it's going to kill you. Because that judgment, not going to move you in the right direction. So I invite you to use that energy on your own growth. Let it go. Judgment, you guys, it changes nothing. Zero. Nothing. A waste of energy, waste of attitude. But every time it shows up, that judgment's going to block your progress. So I invite you this morning, catch that judgment, stop it, replace it with curiosity, replace it with action. And that, guys, that's how you're going to get unstuck and get your day started with Mornings in a Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jimmy, let's bring Marty back up here. Marty, what's on the agenda today, pal?
Just got some work, man.
Yeah.
Content, did podcast last night. It's a regular Thursday, man. Oh, it's fire. Come on, man. You know, the live chat was all involved and stuff. So
nicely done.
You know how it is.
I do know how it is. Yes, I do know how it is. So listen, guys. Hey, listen. So Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, came out with some words this week that I think are worth paying attention to. And you guys know I'm a nerd here. I like to offer up advice for our guys, for all of us to be thinking about things. And as we continue to move into a world of AI and artificial intelligence, and from my point of view, it's not too dissimilar from how our worlds were all impacted when we got these phones, whatever it was, 15, 17 years ago. But boys, something that we want to be thinking about as humans, especially, looking at you, Marty, as the younger bun here on the bunch, less so for me and Johnny, and then our guys tuning in right now is these tools that are around us. As Altman says, what we need to be thinking about, how we're going to continue to interact with these tools, is it's going to be less, Johnny and Marty, about what you think you know with the knowledge in your head. The skill set that's really going to be desired as we continue to move forward in our world is your ability to ask the right questions. And I invite you to think about this. When you go into a room with some super smart human beings, John or Marty, you feel kind of intimidated because you don't know how to speak with those folks because you're thinking, geez, man, this guy's got like an IQ of 7,000 or whatever it is, and he's talking around me in circles. And there's that intimidating factor because you almost don't know how to communicate with that human. In many ways, it's the same thing with an AI, right? And I've been talking with some folks, some men specifically in the last few days that are frustrated. And I'm like, nah, the clearer you are with your questions and the clearer you are with your ask, the better response you're going to get, because all of the knowledge is already there. You have to find a way to extract the knowledge, Marty. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Even when I use my chat GPT, I find myself, Like I got to delete what I said because it's going to give you exactly what you asked for. So you got to kind of be super specific.
You have to be super specific.
You got to be. Yep.
And it's finding ways to extract the knowledge you're looking to get instead of perhaps what you think you know, right? So, but listen, let's get into some fun conversation here. I want to have a fun conversation this morning about experts that are saying that there are 7 questions, boys, that almost everyone has, but is too embarrassed to ask about sex, and it's related to men. And
asking in general or asking AI?
No, in general. Like these are general conversations human beings are curious about, but nobody really wants to talk about it. And as you guys know, on this show, I'm excited to be the show that talks about things that nobody wants to talk about. And so we're going to talk about it here this morning, are these
the questions they're afraid to ask their partner, just ask in general?
In general, yeah, in general.
Okay.
So conversations, guys, about sex are no longer confined to hushed whispers, yet certain topics, let's be honest about it, they still feel taboo, especially for us guys, right? Like, even as the world becomes more open about intimacy, men, they often avoid asking questions they just deem embarrassing, right? So let's change the narrative this morning. There's a recent article I found in Huffington Post, and it was exploring common sexual questions that men have that nobody wants to talk about and are embarrassed. So the first one is, and here's a fun one. Is bigger always better? So the piece highlights a common concern for men, which is penis size. The obsession with size is fueled by media portrayals, but the reality, women, most partners prioritize connection, techniques, and mutual satisfaction over inches. And guys, a scientific study, producer Jimmy, ears go up, brother. A study cited that the average erect penis is just over 5 inches, far from the exaggerated expectations many men carry. It's like vanity metrics. So if this insecurity feels overwhelming, remember, confidence and skill often overweigh anatomy. So men, I know that we sometimes will compare, especially as we're turning the old TVs on and the old graphics on. Stop comparing. Marty, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, well, I think when it comes down to it, me personally, you too, Marty, you've been in a lot of locker rooms and shit. You might be one of those dudes walking around with the baby's arm holding an apple that basically, talks about, the females that are unable to maneuver properly. And, from my experience, I have conversations about sex with partners, period. Even when I was young, let's be honest, I wanted to be a good lover. I wanted to satisfy my partner. So it was not uncommon for me in my early 20s. If I knew I was going to have sex with someone, say, what do you like?
Yeah.
What? Because I want to know what's my roadmap. I want to know how to win. And if somebody tells me how to win, I can do a lot better job if I have I don't need step by step, but hey, this is where I want to end up. Okay. How do you want to end up? How do you like to get there? Do you like to be on your fours or do you like to be on your back?
I love
just simple questions like this. And then through that conversation, it spawns a lot of other shit. Like then you start talking about, I've had plenty of conversations with chicks about size of a shaft and what they prefer.
Yeah.
I got one rebuttal to everything you said, Keith. The only thing is you got to be careful when you asking women questions like that, because sometimes some women will tell you what you want to hear just so they don't hurt your feelings.
Yes.
So you gotta take that into account too. I mean, some girls are bold though; they're gonna tell you the truth, but that's not everybody.
Well, it's one thing I do appreciate about Johnny, and I talked about this before, that he's like, I'm having this conversation with the girls I'm dating, and I love that. And gentlemen, I would encourage you to have that conversation as well. Adam Holroyd, I see in the comments, good morning, brother. Thanks for joining us here this morning. And hey, I'm glad you noticed the look, brother. Yeah, I picked them up last night, and I'm kind of liking them. Just new little thing I'm trying here. Because Adam, the goal here is to get up from behind the setup here and move into the studio and create just as much of a Jim Cramer craziness on the show here. All right, we're talking conversations men are too embarrassed to talk about when it comes to sex this morning. Masturbation, boys. How much is too much? And guys, I'm talking to producer Jimmy right now. Jimmy, many men grapple. He's Jimmy, Marty, he's frantically typing right now. Many men grapple with guilt about their solo habits. But Francisco Ramirez, who is quoted in the Huffington Post article, reassures us, Johnny, that frequency, whether daily, weekly, or rarely, is less important than whether, and here's the thing, whether masturbation interferes with your life. Like, if it's becoming a distraction from relationships, work, or self-care, like, then it's time to reassess. Like, if you're just getting after it non-fucking stop, like, you just got to go to the bathroom or the restroom or anywhere you are, you just got to pull it out and tug, you might want to reflect on the fact you're probably touching it too much. Marty, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes with put masturbation right in line with alcohol or drugs or anything else that has to be managed.
Yes.
You know, is it something that's is it bringing you, is it elevating you or is it, you know, holding you back?
Now, but there also something to be said, Johnny. I had a doctor on the show, actually just before I met you boys on Live in the Lab last year. I had Dr. Lynn Anderson on the show, and science does tell us, though, that when men have a release, it provides mental clarity. So I can tell you, boys, I'll be frank, I'll throw myself on the table here. There are times when I'm bunged up or I'm stuck or I'm having troubles moving forward or I'm having troubles making a decision. I just got to go and get it done. I got to go and empty the clip so I can make a decision, either by myself or going finding Lauren. But I have to do it sometimes just so I can make a decision. And then I find, okay, once that clip is empty, I'm like, okay, I can move forward now. You guys ever experienced that?
Yeah, I've heard to do that before you go on a date.
Yes, that's that too.
That's just so that you're a little better than the fucking statistic. You know, that just gives you a little more life in a sack.
Well, yeah, that's one thing. But I was gonna say you gonna really know if you want to go on a date with her. Like, are you trying to get some quick buns, or do you really like this chick and you really trying to pursue her? You know?
Right. Yeah. There you go. Here's the fun one. Yeah. Here's the fun one. We're talking, gentlemen. Scott Benzie, I see you there this morning in the comments. Good morning, pal. Thanks for joining us here this morning in the lab here. Scotty, we are talking about experts. These are the 7 things that men don't want to talk about because we're too embarrassed. So we're talking about it here in the show. All right. So, boys, here's a good one. Jimmy, actually, no, we're going to point to our community manager, Tommy. Tommy, I know you're in the comments over there, brother, and we're going to start getting you out there and spending more time there in the community there, Tommy. Is enjoying anal play a reflection of sexual orientation? Now, the question reflects a broader cultural misunderstanding that, Johnny, and I'm thinking, Johnny, I'm gonna look at you and I as the older guys here, that enjoying prostate stimulation doesn't define your orientation. Because I
know plenty of dudes that like that, you know, exactly. But I'm not one of them, you know. Exactly. And a lot of times you find the chicks that like to do it because they understand there's a magic button in there. You know what I mean? That's
exactly right. And Marty,
I told Tara, I said, look, if this is a thing for you, I get it, but you're going to have to find someone else to do that with. It ain't doing it to me.
Because, boys, we know that the prostate is simply a highly sensitive part of male anatomy. And as Susan Milstein points out in the article, liking a finger or other safe options doesn't change who you're attracted to, men. So if you like having your prostate massaged, it's okay. Nobody's thinking that you are gay or homosexual. If you enjoy having your prostate massaged, that is a okay thing. And don't be afraid to talk to your partner about it. True.
I'm telling you, man. I know people point blank.
Me too.
That's like part of their equation. Like that's the finish line.
Yes.
You know, you can get me close, but don't push me over without the magic button.
Yeah. I hear you, Johnny. Yeah, and I'm telling you, and I'm looking at you, pal, because I think it's like an age thing, right? I think as we get comfortable and we're going through life, it's when we kind of start exploring some of these things that we maybe are reluctant to in our 20s and 30s. Hey, here's one, gentlemen, and I know.
Let me ask something.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say this. I'm with Johnny. You know, you're gonna have to find another guy. But what I will say is, I've heard women's rebuttals to that, and they basically say, like, as long as a girl's doing it, it's fine. It's fine. You're still straight as long as the girl's doing it. That's what I've heard women say. So, but
Well,
then
see,
it's other women that's like, hell no, there's something wrong with you. So,
well, see, my thing, I mean, like in the world of lifting heavy shit, hemorrhoids is fucking a part of the equation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I've had to stick my finger up my ass more times than I care to fucking count to get some cream up there into a hemorrhoid. And that's not a fucking feeling I enjoy, even with my own fucking finger, let alone someone that's got a goddamn long fingernail, you know?
So Johnny, you're offering it, brother. I've been there with you, man. I hear you. I remember a time there a few years back. I was like, oh, what's going on down there? I'm like, oh, that's kind of an uncomfortable feeling. So Anderson, I can it happened. I can relate to that, man. I was like, Jesus, that is a fucking uncomfortable situation, Marty. I'm telling you, brother. Yeah.
Well, you know, and the way that those things are, the way that these
like fucking
preparation H, you're supposed to put this little fucking plastic thing on the end. It's got all these holes on the side. You're supposed to shove that piece of plastic up your ass. I'm like, what the fuck, man? My cutter is sensitive. It wants nothing to do with plastic. It's having a hard enough time with the softness of my finger, let alone a piece of plastic, for Christ's sake. So, yeah, and then most girls are going to have a fucking long fingernail. That leading the charge, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, true story. All right,
that's just me. That's just if I'm not judging anybody who wants the button pushed. That's your thing.
Johnny, I'm with you there, pal. All right, listen.
I'm judging. No, I'm playing.
You're hanging out with Keith, John, and Marty. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to get your ass into bed, guys. If it's important to men, it's important to us. Real talk for real men here in the lab. We're all about accountability, helping you guys get your day started. We're here talking right now about the questions that we all want to ask, but nobody wants to have them. We're having them here in the lab here. But listen, we got a young man who's got something to say on the fitness side of things. His name's Christopher Martin. He's got a tip for us. What do you got to say, Marty?
First thing, get off the screen. That's the first thing I got to say. All right. Simple fitness tip today. We're going to talk about goal setting. All right. So first thing, set a specific goal. I want to lose weight. How much weight you want to lose? I want to get stronger. How much do you want to lift? I want to eat better. How much protein you want to get? All right. How many times a day do you want to eat? How much water do you want to drink a day? Get specific. The reason I say that is because if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or if you're bullshitting, we know what to measure on. I want to drink a gallon, but I only drank 3/4 of a gallon. All right. I want to lift 225, but I only lifted 195. All right. Now we know that we have work to do. All right. Also, if you're going to use a person, right, to set your goal, I want to look like John Anderson. I want to look like Chris. Some of y'all, I want to look like Keith. All right. I don't know who wants to look like Keith. I don't want to look like Keith. No, I'm playing. But it's okay if you don't reach that person. You know, I probably will never in my life look like John Anderson. But what I can do is I can take John's principles. I can take some of his habits. I can take some of his wisdom, apply that to my life, and become better and build muscle. Right? You can still use what someone does to get better. And you don't necessarily have to be them or be a carbon copy of them, right? Or if you want to do that, you can. But don't get discouraged if that doesn't happen, or don't say, I'm not going to listen to John Anderson because I don't want to look like him, okay? So set specific goals, and when you're goal setting, you can take what someone says and apply it to your life, and you can become like them if you want to, or you could just become a better version of yourself. All right. So I just wanted to give y'all some tips on goal setting, and that's the fitness tip for today.
Getting after this morning. Set your goals, write them down, and get after them. And hey, maybe you want to look like Uncle Keith over here. Yeah. True story, Marty.
Yeah, yes, sir. I was playing, but somebody's goal could be to be like Keith.
Absolutely, man. It's nice, 52-year-old, nice face, good lighting.
You look good for your age, you know.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I thought so too, man. I thought so too.
You do. I just like messing with you, man.
Fuck. Hey, if you stop messing with me and Johnny stops messing with me, I know there's a problem. That's the thing, right? I know that the moment we all stop messing with each other, there's a phone call going on going, Johnny, something up? Marty, something up?
Yeah.
It's funny because us guys are that way, like all guys are that way, right? Which is like,
Yeah.
well, fuck, man, Marty hasn't thrown me under the bus in a couple months. He must be stopping me or something or what, right? So
Yeah.
that's how we get after, boys. So listen, we're talking questions that nobody wants to ask when it comes to, sex and in the bedroom and so forth, and some of the questions we went through. And guys, I know producer Jimmy could not wait for us to have this conversation. He's like, Keith, let's talk.
Hey,
like, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, brother. When I'm I'm hitting my mute button when I clear my throat, but it seems like you're stopping when I do it. Is it muting me or not? Are you hearing me clear my throat and cough?
Sometimes we hear it. Sometimes we hear it.
Maybe I got to hold. Maybe I got to let that thing mute a little longer before I choke. Sorry, because I judge it by does somebody stop talking because I make that loud choking sound. So forgive me. I'll do a better job.
Yeah, we hear it sometimes.
So we're going through these are the 7 sex questions that almost everyone has, men especially, but we are all too embarrassed to ask. So we're going through them here this morning. And the first one was, is bigger always better? And the spoiler answer was no. How much is too much for masturbation, boys? And we learned this morning that if we're having sex more than once a week, our heart health is going to be better. Number 3 is enjoying anal play a reflection of sexual orientation. And then boys, number 4, and this is one that I especially as again we get older, men, are my fantasies weird? Well, first of all, a fantasy is an imagination. So no, if somebody's judging you, well, then they don't have it. Fantasies are imagination. Imagination is supposed to be freeing. It's supposed to be, limitless, no boxes. But we've all had that fleeting thought, Johnny, where I don't know, I got this fantasy. Am I weird? Is there something going on here? In fact, many fantasies serve as a safe mental outlet. And as long as they don't interfere with your relationship or daily life, they're perfectly normal. So men, fantasize. And if I can offer something that I know Johnny would say, talk to your partner about it. Like be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with your partner about your fantasies. Johnny, Marty.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes on. I mean, it's I don't know. I just look at it like, this is like it's like a playground, right? Yeah. Why would you not want to know what your partner wants to play with? Do you like the seesaw, or do you like or do you like the merry-go-round? We'll play with whatever you want to play with, because I like to play with them all.
Yes.
Well, and that's kind of the theme with Terry and I is look, I'm as the male, I'm kind of on the easy side of the stick, because generally speaking, the male has no problem getting to the finish line. The female is the one that has to work harder, or has to be in there longer, whatever you want to call it. Well, so I've always just felt like, for me to be, and I want to be good at everything I do, and I need direction with everything I do. Yes. And sex is no different. And same with a fantasy.
And I think for some folks tuning in might be thinking like some of this stuff is cliche. But it's not. It's not, guys. There's a lot of men, more often than not, Marty, men don't want to talk about this. They're like, I don't want to sit down with my wife and talk about my fantasies, so I'm embarrassed about them.
I guess it depends. Are your fantasy, are you surrounded by a bunch of shit you don't want to admit you're surrounded by in your fantasy?
Or it could be some shit she don't want to do. So
yes.
I think that could be some of it.
Yeah, but I think for me, Marty, I think again, and a goal here with this show is just to encourage conversation, encourage men to be thinking about things, just offering them this idea of having a conversation. Sit down with your partner. Hey, Sarah, good morning. I see you there. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends here. We're talking conversations that men are afraid to have when it comes to sex. We're too embarrassed. We just don't want to talk about it. We're too shy. We don't want to sit down with our wife or our partner and say, hey, this is what I like. Guys, come on. It's your partner. It's somebody who you're spending your life with. Or you might want to choose a different partner. Johnny, here's one that men struggle with. Here's one that many men struggle with. Vibrators and numbness. Some men worry, Marty, that frequent use of toys, if their partner's using a toy over and over and over, might desensitize them, and that they're going to not want to spend time with their male partner because their female partner is too hung up on the toy that they're using. So men are like, well, no, I don't want to buy my wife a toy because she's not going to want to play with me anymore. Johnny,
listen, get better at the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. If the fucking training simulation is better than the fucking game day player, the game day player needs to get better. I mean, come on.
If
If
Madden football is better than the real Sunday NFL game,
Yes.
Yeah, right.
It's like, come on, man. Yeah, what are you watching the game for?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it's really comes down. I totally get where guys are coming from with that.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think it's because they're not applying themselves to the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, so many, but don't even think about sex. How many people will run away from something that they're intimidated by? They're afraid that they're not going to get good at. It's like, I mean, even with fitness, people, it's just like that limiting belief. Oh, I can't get abs. Well, you're never going to get abs because you believe you can't. Well,
exactly.
Do you believe that you can fricking out hump that goddamn vibrator? Well, if you don't believe it, it ain't never going to happen.
That's right. And Sarah G's coming in with the comments there, Johnny and Marty. And Sarah, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. This is the kind of conversations we have here in the lab. We have conversations that men are too afraid to have elsewhere. We bring them here in the lab. Sarah G is all about, toys can't do foreplay, right? And the reality is, and listen, boys, we know foreplay with females is as much sending a nice text, right? I know Johnny texts his wife all the time, and I love to text my wife all the time and sending little snippets throughout the day, getting ready for what might happen later. Right. So and that, so hey, sending texts, sending little love notes, dropping love notes, and then maybe introducing, a toy to the room is only going to, mix it up for everybody. Right, Johnny? So don't get too caught up in, Misty there wants to bring the toy in. Marty.
I want to add one thing. I feel like, of course, the toy ain't the real thing, but I feel like people can get to a point where they're using that shit so much that they don't even want the real thing.
Well,
I think that's what they do. That's what they're worried about.
Yeah. And then to me, then there's a bigger problem in the relationship, right, Marty? Which is, clearly you're not talking about stuff, clearly not spending time together. And as Sarah G says, right, she's like, hey, you can do foreplay all day. Because again, we know females like to connect emotionally, mentally, right? Where us men are like, let's get after it. Fuck, get a heart on and go, right?
Well, and that's it. That's what I was going to say. If your sexual relationship with your wife or a girlfriend doesn't have depth beyond the physical part, then you're playing nothing but a physical game. And that goddamn vibrator with the what is it, the Energizer Bunny?
Yeah.
He doesn't run out of wind easily. As to where the when we're pumping and sweat, we run out of wind. So think of it like that. You got to bring a dimension to the bedroom that vibrator can't.
Well, and what I like about this too, again, we're talking stereotypes and reality and common misperceptions. We're talking conversations that men don't want to have about sex. Listen, there's somebody tuning in right now, looking at Johnny, looking at me, looking at Marty, and having a judgment, full judgment. Well, the reality is, guys, yeah, we all want to have intercourse and ejaculate and hit the end. But there's so much more to sex. I'm going to look at John and Terry and some of the videos that I see them on Instagram. It doesn't always have to be intercourse. Let's cuddle. Let's love. Let's touch. Let's spend time together. Let's foreplay. Let's foreplay, and then see where it ends. Right. So, gentlemen,
we've actually had a couple phases of our relationship where we've actually realized we're like, Jesus Christ, we're having so much sex, we're actually using it as a Band-Aid. And we got to fucking we need to sit down and figure out what the fuck's going on here, because it's easier to bang it out than to actually get down to what's got one of our goats, so to speak.
Yes.
And it's so easy to do because that, I mean, especially from a male's perspective, from my perspective, God damn, if I can keep her happy like this is a much easier game to understand, you know?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
then you realize, okay, but what's happening? It's like a fucking boa constrictor. You don't even know it's choking your shit out until you can't breathe. Then you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So be careful with that one. I mean, I've been there, Terry and I have been there. And here's the thing. Once you recognize it and you figure out the problem and you reconnect, that fucking sex is so much better anyway.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Johnny. Cause I know there's men out there that, I've been there too, where you're like, you just you fix it in the bedroom. That's not always the case. Sarah G's got a question here, boys, which is, what's the biggest insecurity men have in bed? Well, Sarah G, for me, I think the biggest insecurity I would say I have is just always ensuring my partner, Lauren, is happy, satisfied, right? And satisfied in not so much in the air quotes of an orgasm, but satisfied in a loving.
All levels.
Exactly.
All levels.
Yeah, an emotionally connected experience, right? My headset just went out. I knew it was going to happen, so I'm going to do this here.
You know, and on that level, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like to have a conversation.
Yeah, I knew that.
That conversation that you have, I'm covering you while you're getting your ears back, brother. when you have that conversation, you know, usually it's going to go beyond position. Like if a female says she likes to kiss a lot, well, kissing is not just a physical thing. There's a lot of emotion connected to that. So it gives you a fairly clear roadmap to all different dimensions in a sack. What do you think, Marty? Real quick, Marty, do you have these conversations, or you just get that thing that won't bend and go to town?
No, I do have these conversations. I like having them, but
good.
You got to find the right person.
Aren't they
too.
fun? Aren't they fun?
Yeah. I was just gonna say you got to find the right person, because some people don't communicate. Some people are terrible communicators. So, you know, if you want to thrive and continue to get better and make shit more interesting, you got to find the right person that's willing to communicate with you.
Well, you know, that's a good one there too, brother, because I can't tell how many times I've tried to have a conversation with a female, and she's kind of clammed up and said, you know, this is awkward. I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, I need to break the ice here, because if I don't break the ice here, what's it going to be like once we're undressed? Yeah. Once you can actually have that conversation about what you want, then when you're actually doing it, usually that person that is having a hard time with being kind of more free, it's that conversation makes it a much better experience for both of us. You know, so I agree with you. Some people are going to have that conversations. The people that won't, lean on them a little bit. Let them know it's okay. Yeah, let them know it's okay. And you know, once that ice is broken, it's a better deal altogether. You know.
Yeah, I've even had situations where, like, you know, after a couple of times, somebody will be like, well, I didn't like this. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say something before? I thought you did. Yeah. You know, you should have said something. It ain't got to be that way. I'm not a one-way street.
That's it. What was you know, when I was probably, once I gained the confidence to have these conversations, I was probably, I would say my early 20s, maybe 22, 23. When did you gain the confidence to have these conversations?
I'd probably say early 20s, maybe more like 23, 24-ish.
We're right there then. Yeah. I mean, it might have been 24 for me too. It's just such a fucking long time ago. I don't remember the exact year. But what I do remember, and the advice that I give to people that, like, for the dudes that are having a hard time having the conversation, what I did, I realized, Jesus Christ, it actually makes me look confident and builds my confidence to have this conversation, because it shows I got the confidence and the balls to do it. Yeah. And that's what I realized. Wow. Okay. So I mean, especially at that age, we got egos. We're always doing shit to make ourselves look good and make ourselves look confident. And then when it plays into being better in the sack, it's like, how do I not want to have this conversation? So the dudes, if you're having a hard time, hey, God, this is going to be a hard conversation to have. Just think how good it's going to make you look. That's what helped me get over that hump.
All right, boys, I'm back here with you guys here. I want to keep going here. My headset died, so which is okay. We got AJ in the green room. We're going to bring him here in a minute. We're going to do the lifestyle tip. I got two things I want to finish up here with you boys, which is and actually, let's get the lifestyle tip, Jimmy. We'll bring AJ back, and we'll end up with the last two, and we'll keep the conversation going with Jimmy with AJ here. So, Johnny, why don't you get after the lifestyle situation here, my friend? And
let's go.
I am going to. That one. Get after it, Johnny. Get after it, brother.
All right. We all have goals. We all have things that we want to achieve, but here is something that can be really powerful when it comes to actually getting those goals done, reaching those goals. Write your shit down. Be specific. That's great. But write it down. There's something about writing something down that makes it more real. And if you really want to be aggressive with it, write it down every day. Me personally, I write down every day how I want to behave so that I can get closer to my goals. But of course, I write my goals down, but how do I want to behave to get there? When I write it down, it makes all the difference. So yes, have your goals. Yes, be specific with your goals. But even more importantly, write that shit down. That is going to get you where you want to go. Rock and roll.
Just
What's
figure-
up, AJ?
What's up,
What's
guys?
up, Zeglin?
What's up, Zeglin?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Good, man. I just messed
good,
with my
man.
headset over here. AJ, you've been listening. We've been having a fun conversation with the boys this morning about. There's a lot of topics that men have. There's a lot of conversations men want to have about sex, but we're too embarrassed to have. So we were having it this morning, and I want to finish it, but then I want to get to you because somebody came to me after our conversation a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Said, hey, and that's what happens. Right? I'm doing this show now, and guys are coming to me saying, hey, I heard this. Can we talk? I'm like, yeah, let's talk. But before we get to that, AJ, I want to talk about you. Before we get to that, let's continue our conversation about the things that men don't want to talk about. Guys, squirting. Squirting often leaves men and women perplexed. While science has reached a definitive conclusion, it's generally agreed that squirting involves fluid from the urethra, which may contain traces of urine. So as the article promotes, we're left with more questions than answers. However, the takeaway is this. Focus on communication and pleasure with your partner rather than overanalyzing and wondering what the hell is happening in the situation. In other words, the doctor in the article, enjoy the moment, gentlemen. Enjoy the moment.
I mean, how could you not like arousing your partner to the point where shit starts squirting out? Come on. I remember the first time that happened, I was like, I don't know what that was, but I want to do it again.
Yes.
It was crazy. It was like, and she was the first time it happened to her too. We're both like, well, what was that? Well, shit, let's take a break and try again.
Yeah.
You know, it was amazing. So I think I guess what I look at is it's different is fun, especially something new. Like that's one thing I really enjoy with sexual experiences. If I can give my partner something new, that to me is like the top of the top.
Yes. Well, and
can I ask the fella something?
Yeah.
Can I ask my big brother something?
AJ,
come on, baby,
brother.
You ever you had that happen, and then after you're done, you go in the bathroom to pee, and you got that look in the mirror at yourself, like I'm the fucking man.
Oh fuck yeah!
You might do a little. You might do a little shoulder dance.
Oh man, I wasn't. I didn't have to go in the bathroom, man. I was just sitting there watching it happen, thinking I'm the man. As soon as that shit started pumping out, I was thinking that. You know,
you're doing the Conor McGregor, Marty. You're just fucking walking around like this.
Yeah, that's me, and I'm walking like that the rest of the day.
Anybody around Maryland right now watching Marty walk around, you know what Marty did. All right, last one, boys. Last one here in our seven questions that men don't want to talk about when it comes to sex. Safe practices in anal exploration. Listen, guys. Some of us like to, we talked about it earlier in this conversation. If there are toys, if there are anything we want to put in the anus, let's just make sure we're doing it safely. There's a safe way to do it. Most importantly, the article talks about don't be afraid to have the conversation with your partner. And as Johnny says, the more conversation you're going to have with your partner, the more enjoyment you're going to have. So if you do want to have anal play, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a question of orientation. It just means you want to try shit. Have the conversation with your partner. There, simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So AJ, you came in at a time when we're how are you today, pal? You good?
I'm doing really good. You know, I'm sounds like you had 7 there. I missed the first 5, but I will say really quick, you know, one of the common themes that you would find that would connect at least the last 2, and then I'm sure all the other ones that came before on your list this morning would simply be that I think there's a certain level of comfort and trust there that exists between 2 people to explore those type of activities and ideas and stuff like that in the bedroom, right? So I think the more you communicate, like you guys were saying, the more trust and mutual respect is there, the more that people feel safe enough to let themselves go to get to those places, right?
Well, that's the big thing, isn't it? It's communicating, isn't it, AJ? And I know it's funny because we, you know, and Johnny said it best, right? It's like, you know, Terry and I had to stop because we found that sex was a Band-Aid because it can be. right? It's like, okay, I'm going to get off 2 minutes, 3 minutes, done. But yet there's still these problems. You need to find a way to converse, because then when you can find a way to converse, the magic that can happen in the bedroom is pretty exceptional, isn't it, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. And I apply, I'm a big fan of the 4 agreements. I talk about it a lot. And 2 of those agreements are, 1, don't make assumptions.
Yes.
Right. So it's like, hey, why would I guess to see what my partner would like or what they would be into?
Yes.
I mean, I can just ask them. Right.
Yes, right.
And as men, I think a common theme for us is we want to be good in the bedroom. Yes. Every man wants to feel like he's pleased his partner in a meaningful way.
Yes.
Okay. So, you could either guess, or you could just ask. It's like you have all the answers to the test right there. You could ask.
That's exactly what I've been saying, brother. It's like the fucking Cliff Notes,
Right.
You get a quick roadmap.
Yeah. And they let you know. And then again, in one of the other agreements, don't take things personally. So if there's something that you've been doing that they're not really into, that's okay. It's nothing personal against you. Don't take it personal. Just be appreciative of the fact that now you know how to give them a better experience, right? In the bedroom, and just follow through on that.
That's right. Hey, Sarah, we got AJ. I'm a little fumbling on my words here this morning here. Sarah, AJ Zeglin joining us here from Winnipeg. And AJ, Sarah is saying that you are fine, Mr. Zeglin. You have a fan in the audience here. But Mr. Zeglin, I got to put you on the spot, brother. So we had a very vulnerable conversation with you a couple days ago. We learned a little about you. We learned about your journey in life. And then what's happening with this show is guys knock on my door after. They hear me what to say and like, hey, and apparently they feel like I'm approachable. So they call me, they text me, and they're like, hey, Keith, I'm in my 40s. I heard AJ's story, and I feel like I'm maybe going through a midlife crisis. I feel like I want to do more. I feel like I need to do more. I feel like I have to do more. But then I heard AJ. And I heard AJ's commitment to himself. And I heard AJ's commitment to his family. And I heard AJ's commitment to his principles. And I heard AJ's commitment to his values. And I was like, yeah. He's like, no, I'm kind of confused because I want what AJ has, but I feel like I need to go do more to prove more to myself. And he's like, I really admire AJ's courage. I'm serious. That's exactly what he said to me. I really admire his courage that in his 40s, he stood up and said, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to let anything else fall down around me.
Right.
And this guy, and this gentleman was largely kind of perplexed because he's 46 years old, the same age I was, AJ, when I was kind of going through my shit with you. And he's like, man, because I don't know, man. I feel like I'm going through this crisis, and I want to be like AJ, but I want to be more. AJ, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that we have a lot of opportunities with the things that we already have in our life, right? So sometimes maybe improving, doing more, as this gentleman was saying, might just be being better at the simplest things, right?
But how do you measure that? Like, how do you say, okay, I want to be a better father? What does that mean, AJ?
Yeah. So what does it mean to you, right? So what types of things do you think a good father does when you look at someone and are like, hey, I think that guy's a great father. I think he's a great husband. I think he's a great friend. What types of things do you think he does, right? And what types of things do you think are meaningful? Okay, maybe you come up with 2 or 3 things. I think he does this, this, and this. That's the type of person I want to be. Okay, cool. You've just created your own list. Go do them consistently. Go do them every single day, right? Build that evidence for yourself. Build that undeniable proof. Now when you're having that conversation, it's like, hey, do I think I'm a good father? Yeah, I do. I outlined things that I think are important to be a good father, and I do them every single day.
Yeah. It was an interesting conversation, AJ, because he was truly, I could tell he was really trying to strive for more, but also trying to find happiness with what he already had. And I'm suspecting, AJ, there's a lot of guys, not a lot, I'm painting a brush. I'm suspecting there's men that go through those 40s and 50s.
Oh, all of us.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, all of us. And, we tend to think everything is so black and white in this world. And we tend to think in absolutes, and we forget that 2 things can exist at the same time. Right. Yeah. So we think like, hey, if I want more, that means I must be a complete piece of shit where I'm at. I'm awful. I'm terrible. I'm not doing anything right. Because I still want more. And it's like, no, I can be happy and proud of the person I am and the things that I do as a father and a husband, and as a friend, and at my job, and all those elements of my life that make me me. I can be happy and proud of where I'm at and still want to do better. Those two ideas do not have to be exclusive from one another. Those two things can be going on at the same time.
But to a high performer, they might conflict with that, AJ. To a high performer, there might be conflict with that, AJ.
Well, but let's boil this down. Let me jump in here. Let's boil this down because everything is here is so correct. But what's the actionable step? How does this become more clear? How does this become easier for someone that wants to do it, doesn't know where to start? First thing you do is you start removing the shit that's in your life that's not serving you or your family, and you're creating time. You say no to the shit you need to get away so you can say yes to the new shit you want to bring in. It's that fucking simple. You start with removal. Removing the bad habits. You're going to be better at everything. And then whatever you remove, you've created the time. So learn to say no. And just by doing that, you're going to be saying yes to the shit that you want to do. So I think a lot of times people think, oh God, I got to do more. Yes, you do. But the first thing you got to do is some fucking house cleaning. Get that dumb shit out of the way so you create that time. And you're going to be viewed upon as a better father because you're getting rid of the bad stuff. And then you're going to be a super father because you're not only getting rid of the bad, you're bringing in good.
But I'm going to challenge it. AJ, it's not as easy as that.
Well, so is it difficult? Yes. Are we going to have lots of highs and lows in that journey of becoming the person that we want to be? Absolutely. Are we going to doubt ourselves along the way and sometimes feel like we're not doing enough? Yes, we will. Right. But as you and me have talked about many times, it's never over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the thing that we have to embrace. Sometimes that can feel overwhelming to people to be like, oh, you mean like I got to keep doing this stuff forever? And it's like, yeah. That's the beauty of it. That's the best gift that we have, is that we always have the ability and capability to keep getting better. If we ever lost that resource, if we ever lost that ability to improve, then what are we telling ourselves? Right? This is it.
Yeah.
You know, you might be in a spot right now. And if I'm like, hey, Keith, don't worry about it. You're perfect the way you are. Right. And you might be like, well, man, I still got a lot of stuff that I don't feel very, very good about. What do you mean? Like, you mean I can't, this is just it? I'm not going to get any better. And it's like, no, man, you're going to get better. And when you get better from there, you're going to find a way to even want to get better and even want to get better. And the ability or the opportunity that we have is probably the greatest gift that we have in our life, that there's always room for improvement. We never want to hit that top level where we're just like, hey, I cannot get any better. I've maxed out. I can't get any fitter. I can't get any stronger. I can't get any smarter. I can't get any more compassionate. I'm at the highest level of everything. Because then what do you do? Like, then there's nothing left, right?
Well, that's
easy. I don't think easy. If I use the word easy and what I was saying, what I was intending to say was simple. Simple doesn't mean easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? What we're talking about is not easy shit. Otherwise, everyone would do it. The question is, where do you start? Well, you simplify by remove so you can bring more stuff in. That makes it simple. So if I use the term easy, because Keith, I know you went to easy. I don't know if I said that. If I did, strike that from the record for sure. But what AJ is saying is so true, because you remove, right, and you bring new shit in. Well, this is where all of a sudden we start to create some habits for ourselves. And then those habits turn into standards, kind of like brushing your teeth every day is a standard. So this shit, don't get all fucked up over, oh my God, I got to do this forever. It's going to become your standard very soon. And then the perception that your kids are going to have you because of these high standards, you're never going to want to stop.
Yeah. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith Billis, AJ Zeglin, C. Marty, Fit, John Anderson here. Mornings Live with Keith and friends here. Sarah, I see your questions there in the comments here. We're going to get to them in just a quick second here. AJ, enlightening stuff, man. I'm telling you, you sparked the nerve of some guys with your story a couple days ago, like I said. And I had some guys knock on my door like, man, inspired by you.
Inspiring shit.
100%.
Yes.
Because it took courage to do what you did, because like I said, you know, just your situation and the fact you stood up and said, I'm going to do this because I am going to get better. That's a courageous decision to make, an intentional decision to make, AJ. I am going to get better.
And I appreciate all the positive feedback on it. You know, the funny thing is when you're in it, is when you're in it, you don't really notice that you're having that possible effect, or that your story is going to maybe affect people in a positive manner, like it might, right? So you never really know what your reach is, right? And I think that goes for absolutely all of us in this world, right? We never really know who we're affecting, and you know, no matter how big or small you perceive your platform to be, like, you have a reach, you affect people around you. Your life's bigger than just you, you know, and so it's always kind of nice to get feedback and be like, oh man, shit, people actually care about that, or they thought that was great. Like, I was just doing it because I thought it was the right thing to do. And I'm pleasantly surprised that people were able to draw some positives out of it, right?
I love what you just said, because that's the soundbite. I did what I did because I thought it was the right thing to do. And sometimes we overcomplicate things, guys, when it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm 46. I want to go get better. I'm going to go to school. Right? It's like, okay, I think it's the right thing to do. Right? So, guys, sometimes we get overcomplicating with stuff, when the reality is, if your gut is saying it's the right thing, it might be the right thing to do. So there we go with AJ. We're talking, we've been talking great conversations about how to get your shit together. AJ, before you rock and roll out of here, we got a question from Sarah for all of us here, guys. Question from Sarah is, do I have to answer the body count question?
Well, say the question. Say the question before that to make it make more sense. Scroll up a little bit.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one there actually. Yeah, does my body count matter? I'm always worried my past is going to disqualify me from a guy. So around the table, guys, you're hanging out with a girl for the first time, and the question is, how many guys you slept with in the past?
Oh God, Jesus! Let me jump on this one, dude. First off, if some dude is messed up over, you know, how many other dudes you slept with, you need to find a more confident fucking male.
Well, go ahead, Johnny. I'll let you finish.
No, I'm just going to say, I think that when it comes down to it, I mean, if you're going to sit there, and I think a male should, you know, we as males, we do our thing, and it's okay. We get a tap on the back. We're manly. You know, it's almost like another notch on the belt. A female, she's all of a sudden degraded because she wants to have the same sexual expression and liberation. I don't think that's right. I think it's if you're female and you want to explore. And if a dude can't handle that you explore before him, he's not fucking confident enough for you.
Hard to argue with that.
So I agree and disagree with Johnny. So
let's hear it.
What I'll say is,
you're young. I understand that.
Well, I'm gonna give you some facts though. Guys should never ask that. So that's a corny ass question to ask. Yeah. So I totally agree that that's insecure asking that. Now, if something from her past shows that she's a bad decision maker and an impulse decision maker and makes awful decisions when she gets emotional, I think that does play a factor in how successful the relationship is going to be. Because Johnny, you just talked about earlier, you're interviewing people to see what their past shows. Right, and if something bad from their past reflects, you're not going to hire them. So I do think that it does play a factor. Now, if you were just exploring and being an adult, that's one thing. But if you got the whole football team running through the dorm, then that's going to make a difference. You know.
Well, and that's why I use the word explore. Because when it comes down to it, you know, that was, for me, I love to explore, but it was never this game of, oh, how many chicks can I, It was like, I'm just trying to answer all these questions in my head, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But it was never at the idea of degrading a female.
Yeah, B2 Wave comes in with a comment saying it's a baited question. It really is a baited question when you ask it. AJ, what's your POV on this, brother?
Yeah, that's a great last point. That's what I was going to start with. I was going to say, first of all, you know, if you flip that and reframe that, like as the male, like, why am I asking that question?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So am I asking that question? Like,
right.
What am I trying to get out of this? Right. Am I trying to shame you in some sort of way to try to make it seem like I'm somehow superior or something like that? Because we've made different decisions in our life. If we have, that's a pretty shitty reason to ask someone a question, right? If you're just doing it to try to make them feel bad about themselves, right? So what are we trying to get out of it? Like, what does that conversation look like, right? So, I mean, I suppose there'd be a lot of context needed, and each situation would be its own individual situation. Yeah. For me, for my personal belief, like, would I care? No, I would not care how many partners, or previous partners that my partner had. I would.
What if it was 1,000 in a day?
I was just gonna say, Marty. But if it was Bonnie Blue who slept with 1,100 men in 12 hours. Maybe
that's kind of good, but it's outside the lines of exploring. Well, yeah, you know what I
mean? Yeah.
That's probably a questionable character, right? Maybe you were questioning.
Yeah. Character. I'm just playing, AJ.
I know. Yeah, no, that's okay. I didn't see that one that you guys are referencing. So I'm assuming it's a porn actress that was trying to set a record or something like that, or
an OnlyFans.
Not even a porn actress, just some chick on social media.
Okay. Trying to set a record.
But I suppose you could call her that now.
Rick Kletke comes in with a comment and he asks a legitimate question, which is, would you buy a car with 300,000 miles on it?
I love that.
Well, I guess it depends on it. There's a lot of questions you have to ask about the car.
Yeah.
Because I mean, are those good maintained miles? Like Marty said, was that good decision making with those miles, or was those hard driven, impulsive miles?
Were they highway miles? Were they stop and start miles?
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah. Have
300,000 miles in a day.
Also though too, like on a serious note, I just want to touch upon one thing really quick too, is that sometimes these situations too happen or arise for all sorts of different reasons, right? Like if you actually look at a lot of, I know we're talking about females in this case, but you could talk about males or females that are what would be considered like overly sexually active. A lot of them have suffered periods of like sexual abuse in their past, even when they're younger. Some of them have been abused mentally or emotionally in different ways, and they don't know maybe how to communicate. They don't know, like, some of these people might just be looking, they might have not been raised and been able to see or witness what a good relationship looks like. Some of them would come from broken families and different situations like that, right? So sometimes they don't have the example, or sometimes they haven't been shown, they haven't been taught. Sometimes, there's a reason in there that they're desperately searching or grasping to find some sort of connection, right? And, when we do things like that, their coping mechanisms, they come from a good place. That person is trying to make themselves feel better because they recognize that something is wrong, right? And one person might pick up a bottle of booze. One person might start drugs. One person might go and just completely involve themselves in sex with like all these different partners and be very active in that way. But they're actually looking for something to make them feel better. They recognize something's wrong. They just don't know how to do it. So, sometimes too, I know it's, I'm not trying to ruin like the humor element that we had in our conversation here.
No, it's absolutely true, brother. Absolutely true.
There is maybe some empathy or compassion and stuff that in some of these cases be like, well, hey, like, what's this person's story? Like, how did they get here? Because they probably didn't set out when they were, a kid to be like, by the time I'm 20, I hope I have, 500 sexual partners or something like that. It's probably not the goal when they set out, right? So there's probably some sort of story in there or reason behind it.
But you're raising,
brother, the first time I had my heart broken, I was literally trying to fix that with sex, and it was almost like I was looking, it was so, looking back, it was so silly. I was in my early 20s, so I was dumb as a box of rocks, especially emotionally. But it was almost like I thought, it's like, okay, maybe this one will work. It's like I'm just going and sleeping with different girls, hoping that there's going to be something with this one that was going to replace what I lost, but it wasn't there. and you just keep it's temporary insanity. It's like repeating the same process, hoping you get a different outcome. But when your emotions are all fucked up, you're fucking blinded to it. You don't see it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't abused. I got no sob story. This was just me being emotionally fucked up. It's the first time my heart broke, and I didn't know what way was up or down.
AJ.
And a lot of times, John, that's great, because a lot of times as people, it might not even have anything to do with the other partner, with the other person in the room.
No,
it has to do with us. And for us,
100%.
And for us, a lot of times we're like, hey, what's the quickest way? Like, I don't like who I am right now, or I don't like how I'm feeling right now. I want to be someone different. The quickest way, the human brain is naturally always going to go to the path of least resistance. What's the easiest way? And it's going to view and be like, oh, if I could just go, put myself in this situation, like, who could I be when I'm with this person? And then, oh no, I'm still me.
Yep.
I don't like me. I don't like who I am or where I'm at. Okay, who could I be with this person? And you'll see people switch partners, switch relationships, because it seems like the quicker route, instead of doing what we all know deep down that what we need to do and be like, hey, what's the one common denominator in all these things? It's me. Yeah. I have to change myself. I have to put in the time and the effort and the work to consistently do the things that I need to do to change me. And then I'm going to start finding those partners that I have that real connection with, right? It's so a lot of times it's not even about the partner. It's about the person themselves looking for the quickest way to change.
Hey, you're hanging out with Keith Billis, John Anderson, C. Marty Fitter, and AJ Zeglin. We are the only men show for men to wake up and start your day. Mornings and Live with Keith and friends here. We're talking sex, guys. We're having the conversations here that nobody else wants to have anywhere else. Real men, real talk. And Sarah, we're talking to you here this morning. We're talking to all you. And Sarah, I'm going to invite you to think about this. The man that asked you your question about your body count, and when you gave the answer and he didn't want to talk to you anymore, I'm going to invite this, Sarah. It's his own mirror, not your mirror. So don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. Don't be ashamed of your answer. Just got to go find a different guy. Right, AJ? That's just not the right guy for her.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
I agree.
AJ, we've kept you overtime, brother, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We've got a lot. The conversations happening in the comments. YouTube's on fire right now. And AJ, Rick's got a question here. How did you feel after this experiment? Oh, that's about the experiment of Bonnie Blue there with 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Rick, I guess, Rick, we had the conversation yesterday. We all did, which is, how OnlyFans has changed the world. So AJ, we talked about it yesterday. In the olden days, prostitution was largely for, folks that maybe were economically on the other side of the fence. But yet OnlyFans now has opened up the door to females who are like, wait a minute, I don't want to go get a job in corporate America. I'm an attractive female. I can go behind the camera. Right. Because guys are going to pay me to take my clothes off. And I'm suspecting, AJ, I'm wondering what society is like in 5-10 years when some of these females and men wake up going, kind of have a purpose because I've been taking my clothes off for the last 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I feel like in some variation of it, right? It's really, if you want to look at prostitution or whatever it is, it's the world's oldest profession, I do believe,
100%.
right?
Yes,
I think what they call it, right? So,
yes.
I mean, that's a good question. I'm not even really sure where we're going to be in 5 to 10 years.
An interesting one though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to kind of see where it all goes. And then, I don't know. Like I feel like it can be such an individual conversation based on the person, right? So I hate to just kind of like make a blanket statement and try to paint every single person with the same brush and just be like, hey, everyone that's ever done this is this type of person, right? Because I wouldn't find that to be true. So it'd be hard to answer that question, like, and be able to speak for everyone that's involved in it, right? Yeah, but I do think it's interesting. I
think to me it's a curiosity. It's curious as how society is going to continue to shift and embrace as we continue to. And I see Marty is shaking his head because I don't think it's going in the right direction, is it, Marty?
You know what? I don't want to take over the show because I could go on this for an hour. I think what it is people are getting lazier. People don't want to work. They don't want to do actual work. And people don't want to put real value into the world. So the easy route is, hey, let me take my clothes off, show a little ass and titties, and get paid for it. That's just my opinion. But I think that has a lot to do with the shift, and I think it's turning our world and our country and Canada in the wrong direction.
Well, and here's the reality, guys. As long as we're opening up our wallets,
Yep.
as long as we open our wallets, the females are going to keep taking their clothes off, and
Yep.
But I'm going to crack a joke.
It's an issue on both sides.
I'm going to crack a joke laced in truth. Keep doing it so we have stuff to keep talking about, so this show can keep growing. Because
we should make it a topic.
Listen, the last half hour, this has been a very, very highly conversed topic in the numbers and the conversation. Clearly, people want to talk about sex with men and
you know what, Keith? You know I love you, right, Keith?
Yeah, 100%.
I got to be honest with you. I'm gonna do this on the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes we gotta say F the script, man, and we just gotta talk. We just gotta have man talk sometimes. I think.
Yeah. Well, this was
look how everyone's engaging in the comments.
This was driven by script, but it was this was the conversation I wanted to have today, right? Which was about the conversation that us men don't have or are scared to have.
Yeah.
Right, which is
it got me about to be late to work. You know, this is what we need to do more, man.
So it's like, hey,
Marty he blew past his timer, man. He's like, shit, I'm supposed to be gone. I love it.
It's like somebody wants to stick a finger up my ass. Is that okay? Yes, it is okay. You're normal.
Hey, you're normal. Hey, but before you do that, Keith, you got to put that on the In the Lab OnlyFans. You guys got to get one going here. You know, make some money off it if you're gonna do it.
I got to clip my nails, as Johnny was talking about, because if we got something going on up there, we want to have the nails clipped. Is what we want to do first. Marty, get the hell out of here. Go to gold.
That's now the convo was supposed to end. See y'all tomorrow, man. AJ, see you next week.
Have a good loop, brother.
I love you, brother.
See you guys.
All right. See you.
Thank you, guys.
AJ, we'll see you.
Thank you, AJ.
All right. Hey, guys, Jimmy, we are way over time on the show here and on the segment, but that's okay here. We're gonna rejig it. I think Johnny's got to get going here, and so do we here in a couple of minutes. Yes, click. That's it. Going to be the brand new revenue stream here. It's going to be OnlyFans with Keith and Johnny. Just Keith and Johnny. We're going to show men how to apply hemorrhoid cream to their assholes.
I'm telling you, man, dude, that for those that have never had to do it, it's just like, I remember reading that thing going, what is this thing telling me to do? Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, Sarah comes in with a good comment too. Gentlemen, if you're going to go and take the hands and touch your female and go and finger your female, clip the nails. That's the other thing too. We get the females and gentlemen, again, it's just something we don't talk about, but men, if you're going to go have some time with your female, make sure your hands are clean and nails are clipped. John.
Yeah, I say wash your goddamn hands. You know,
wash your hands.
Be clean, man. Be clean.
That's it. Scott Benson coming in with a comment here saying, I knew a topless dancer who paid for college, house, truck, and boat, all in cash. She graduated and she went on her path to success and she was debt free. Jimmy's coming in saying, I can see Johnny shifting. I think he has to go for a pee. So Johnny, why don't you?
No, I'm actually just rolling out my neck. That's all. We rode our dirt bikes yesterday really hard. And what's that?
How's Terry's shoulder?
We got bad news, man. We got this, it's so fucking nice. One of our neighbors is literally a surgeon. And so he totally hooks it up. Like we got the MRI and he literally read it himself and came over to the house and explained it to her. But her labrum is completely torn. It's just hanging on. He's like, I don't know how you've been doing this. He goes, so she's got to have surgery, which is a bummer.
No kidding.
Yeah. So she was like, well, fuck, let's go ride. If it's fucked up, it's fucked up. So we went and rode yesterday.
That's a cool attitude, though, eh? She's like, yeah, fuck it, let's go ride. Let's go ride. Sarah G comes in and says, hey, I'm not trying to get fingered by Wolverine. So no, gentlemen, you want to get your nails clipped if you're going to go and have some fun with your young lady friend. That was a good conversation, Johnny, and I'm really pleased and proud that we had it. I'm proud that you offered yourself up there, and AJ did as well. Again, it's what we're trying to create here on the show, and I know you've said to me that when you post your content out on the gram there, and I know I enjoy it, the relationship content you and Terry create. People lean into it, don't they, Johnny?
Yeah. We're actually just yesterday we did our first one. We're actually doing longer form content together, so that's actually going to be good. Getting deeper into it.
I applaud you for that, because I can tell you just on what's happening here with our show, people are digging this stuff because these conversations are being had, man. Like when you look on the gram, there are not many John and Terrys, right? So to hear the stuff you guys are putting out there, that's inspiring for other couples that are looking for direction, looking for help, and looking to, learn the things that you guys have gone through, right? So, but Jimmy, let's get to the creator spotlight, Jimmy. Let's work towards wrapping up our conversation here today. We're getting to the 90-minute mark. Man, what a fun show here today. Did not expect it to go where it went, but I'm glad that it did. So Jimmy, I got the horizontal coming here, pal. We have somebody who is not joining us, but he's from the Chicago area. He's all about helping people think differently and bring their ideas to life. He was a teacher's worst nightmare. He turned award-winning educator, turned nonprofit founder, turned innovation consultant, turned sales and marketing leader. Dude, turned content creator. This guy has reinvented himself and done a lot of crazy things. He's a father of 3, and throughout all these roles, he's done one thing. He's helped people think differently and bring their ideas to life. This guy's currently based in Chicago. He's living the dream as a professor at HubSpot, and he can be bribed with donuts. Dude, you don't want donuts, man. No, we're not gonna. We can't have donut guy on the show here. Donuts, coffee, skateboards, or long talks about the Grateful Dead. That we can talk about here on the show. Creativity and or parenthood. This morning, Jimmy, I got it rolling, brother. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends with myself and John Anderson. We are extremely excited to celebrate this man, Mark Hands, our creator today from the Chicago area, HubSpot, Kellogg Executive Education. He is an active contributor on the platform. And if you look at him, he's like, my resume makes no sense. But he is somebody who is all about helping humans and helping think differently and bring ideas to life. So Mark is creating great content. The guy brings a great smile, great energy. You can see him pumping it up there on the platform there. And I've thoroughly enjoyed looking at his stuff that I see on the feeds. Creates great stuff, which is motivating. And so forth.
Love that smile, baby.
I know, man. The smile is capturing, man. If you can't get brought in by the smile, then I don't know what's going to bring you in. But Mark, here's how it works, pal. We're here celebrating you today. I love the work you're doing over on the LinkedIn platform. Now, here's how it works, pal. We want to invite you in the lab. So for somebody in your orbit, we want to invite you into the lab, bring that person, celebrate them so we can create some energy, positive energy on the LinkedIn platform for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends on our creator spotlights. All right. Well, Johnny, we're looking like we're racking up here, pal. What do you got on the big agenda today, buddy? What's going on for you today?
Well, I've got I'm just building a team, man. The building the team has been a lot of fun.
Has it been fun? Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I guess it just shows the the potential, as I kind of shift gears into growing my company. It's just so much different to see. I've always been good at delegating, but now having so many more people to delegate to, this has been a lot of fun.
That's
and
awesome.
I think we're gonna ride again today. We had a lot of fun riding yesterday, and now that we realize that Terry can't make her shoulder any worse than it already is. So
that's
fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, David Kendall, I see you there in the comments, new to the stream. Listen, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the channel. This is the only morning show for men. We're all about real men, real talk. If it matters to you, it matters to us. I'm Keith Billis, the host. That's John Anderson over there. I've lifted a few things in my life, but not as many things as John Anderson has. And we here every single day, Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We go with you guys for 60 to 90 minutes. And we're about to wrap it up, Johnny. A lot of fun here today, man. A lot of fun here today. Enzo, good to see you here in the comments this morning as well. Man, we had Mike Smart here today. Meta Builders was here. Good Time was here. Shinku was here. B2 Wavy, I invite you to tune in. Come back and join us. I think B2 Wavy, you're in the UK over there. So, Johnny, what time is it in the UK right now, pal? It is about 2.
It's 8 hours. It's 8 hours ahead of us. So, what it'd be? What?
2:30.
Yeah.
How's that funny? Because I know I've worked with folks over in the UK too, right? And it's like just massaging the zones all the time, eh?
Yeah. I'm really good at like the real rounded numbers, but then I got to look at like when there's a 30, my brain starts going.
I get you. All right, well, listen, Jimmy, we're gonna get out of here, guys. It's time to wrap it up. On behalf of myself, Keith Billis, that's John Anderson. Good time. Good to see you there, pal. Enzo, good to see you there. B2 Wavy, BP2 Wavy, come back tomorrow. Sarah, Come back tomorrow as well at B2. Yeah, it's early, but we got the morning show for guys, man. We're all about a morning show for men. Sarah, come back, hang out with us tomorrow. Hope we answered all your questions. We're back tomorrow with Danny Delvecchio is joining us first thing in the morning. And we're going to get out of here. Jimmy, let's rock and roll. Johnny, I love you, brother. We'll see you later. Okay, pal?
Love you too, brother. Have a good loop. See you tomorrow.
For sure. See you guys.
You got it.